And we're going to go into part 25 now of Matthew and start after the 12 disciples. So this will begin with Matthew 10, verse 3. And we'll see there. That almost looked good. Get some lights on. Like I said, there is no true list of 12 disciples. So, but for that, you need to go back and listen to the other video, and I will continue here correcting the text. These 12, Jesus sent out after instructing them. Let's see here. I think we had, up here, he gave them his authority over demons to cast out and heal every disease and sickness. Now let's try to make sure that, what are these instructions here? Because don't need all this doubleness of things. We already know there's 12. Jesus sent them out after instructing them. Don't need the word saying. Do not go to not the way of the Gentiles, okay? Now, usually it means don't go, the word way of can reflect two different type of meanings. One is the way would be like the road or the path, or the way of like the sinner or the pagan. So here, do not go to the pagans. I don't need the words way. What it was is pagans. Jesus was considering everybody else out there at this time pagans because they didn't believe our Creator existed. They weren't following our Creator. This is against all the teaching and commands of our Creator. So do not go way of the pagans. Now here, I guess I could have used the word sinners because they just don't understand, and they have this belief of many gods. So yeah, I could have used the word pagans or sinners here. So that's, like I said in the last in almost every video, that these are going to get corrected again. This is just trying to get rid of a lot of the stuff that isn't the truth. And the next correction I needed, and do not enter the city for Samaritans. Now, if Jesus is sending them out all over the place, and he's giving them warning, do not go to the Samaritans. All the cities are Samaritans because Samaritans would be describing the people living in that city, okay? And actually, Sumerians are those that lived in when our Creator separated them into two nations. One of the kings decided to remove Bethel as the capital city for the kings, and bought a hill that later became a fort, that later became the king's land that he lived on, and then he would use this fortress as a place to go for refuge when he's in battle. This is way up. Let's see if I've got that map, because I know I do. Because it's important to know that where these locations are at and why they're there. Okay, I think I got this here. Nope. Okay, I have it here. Now this is where I'm saying Samaria is, and King Omar had bought the hill, buys the hill here. Now, what I want to do, show you here, now see how this marking is here. This is already gone into captivity. This is gone into captivity to Arams or Armenians. Now, down here is Samaria right here. Now, there are many stories that talk about them going to battle and coming back and forth, but this is why the location is here. And it has to be here because when Jehu was anointed by, I can't remember, he was by Elijah as attendant, was anointed with oil. He was sitting around with the commanders over in this area here because they were in battle for, I think the city was called Ramoth, and there's really no way to say where it's at, but the object is it's probably down in here. So, but when they did, he come back to kill the king that was in the fort, recuperating from his battle woe. And it's unique to have the words from the guard at the gate. They had these pillars, or not pillars, but they had these two like output posts that would be up at the top, and then the fort would have like a fence around it, pretty much made of wood, but probably many logs and trees. But the object here is that the way the guard says these words, and that is he reports to the king that he hears Jehu. I see riders coming and they're from Jehu. And now the king is, somebody goes and tells the king comes back and says, well, let's see, is it good news or not bad news? Send out a person to find out, and then they come back quicker than him, a fast messenger. So now the guard reports that he sent them and did not return. And then now all of a sudden the king wants to know the news. So he gets in a chariot and he's now going to go down and look and ask Jehu. Now, when you're thinking about how many stories and how the timing and how this could only possibly happen, that this guard could witness all these things and to be truthful, we have to understand that this was on a hill and he could overlook it, so it would be between this valley, because the dip would have been down here to start the water come down, because remember, this is desert, okay? But here, if this is the only location that if they're over here battling in through this area, that this story can actually take place, that he could see this far away that Jehu was coming, okay? And this is probably 2-3 miles here, I think, from here to here, and then coming back to here. So all this that could happen can only happen here. So I don't care what they tell you about where Samaria is at. This is the story that of Jehu being reported by the guard, tells us the true location. Somewhere along this hill ridge is where Samaria is actually located. So let me get back to the text here and say that the Samaritans would have been from that city, okay? So it was, you got to understand, many of the kings that were in, that lived there as their second capital city for the kingdom or the nation of Israel, were also known as Samaritans. But It would be that he's trying to tell them to go to his people and say, do not enter the cities that have Romans or for Romans. So it means that when they came in, yes, their guards, their people were sent. So they had to have established areas to live. So here it's kind of do not enter the cities for the Romans, more or less, because throughout the land is where the captives are living and their established um, tribes' lands. Now, do not enter the cities for the Romans. Now, we have no location as far as where these governors, I believe, were ruling from. We do know that Pilate was in um, Jerusalem, but we don't know where the other king or other governors were ruling from a city. So let's see if I can, yeah. So it's kind of like Jesus is coming down from here right now, and he's going to be teaching pretty soon through here. But is it here or down to here? Now, um, I know the text is going to say that um, when Jesus says Jerusalem, because he's going to make this path over to Jericho and then come down and then come back over here. And this is how Jesus comes in. So we don't have any real text of Jesus down here. What we have, though, is Jesus going to send his disciples out to heal people. And this is the area that I'm saying that they went through. They went into Judah, okay? Because Jesus did not come into Judah to teach so far. I mean, everything has been in Israel, which they called Galilee, and over here, they visited over here. But the object is that somewhere here has to be here that he sends them out and he's giving them the instructions. Okay. So here we know that the city of Jerusalem, they really didn't go to. Okay. He sent them out around here because Rome owns Jerusalem now. Okay. And that's where they're setting up as um, their governor's place. Okay. So, so when it's talking about Jesus going where they're going and do not enter the city for the Romans, pretty much, or I'm going to describe as in Judah. And there is going to be a story that maybe some of you are familiar with, and I'm going to mention right now, that Jesus tells them when they come up to him and uh, says something about he's a ruler of demons, and he says, well, what about your other sons, my disciples? Who did they heal, and who did they um, cast out demons? And that would have been a point that, yes, they now, Judah was getting this treatment of calling people through Jesus sending out his disciples. So I'm trying to say the word Romans is correct here. I don't think I can say it's another type of travelers that come in and are established, but do not enter the cities for Romans, because they probably had some where the guards were living and things like this, but they set up their own places. And he's telling them, but rather go for my lost rams. I had to add all these words are from the tribe from Israel, not from the house, from the tribes of Israel, because Israel became a nation by having the 12 tribes. So it is the 12 tribes. And really, you got to understand, um, they are all tribes from sons of Israel either. Joseph's sons were given 2 portions on the land, and the Levites were not given a portion. So you have to understand a lot what's going on here as to be able to say house to tribes and preach my kingdom. You don't preach saying, you preach my kingdom in heaven is not at hand, but it is coming. That his kingdom in heaven is coming, okay? So Jesus sent them out after instructing them, do not go to the pagans, which might be corrected, and do not enter the city for the Romans, for my lost rams are from the tribes of Israel. Jesus was prophesied only to go to the Israelis at this point, okay? And preach my kingdom in heaven is coming. So that's Jesus' gospel. My kingdom in heaven is coming. I'm not feeling all that well, but I'm going to continue. So if I blatantly just shut down, sorry about that. Heal my sick. This is Jesus still telling them what to do, I guess. It's almost like here he told them up here that to cast out every demon and stuff. And now over here, Jesus is now giving them the instructions that I was looking for above. So, so where are the instructions here? Okay, after instructing them, you can see that the verses are out of order. If you were to write this, just after after I get all the stories together, I'm going to do that to where even these will be jumbled up to be more truthful. I mean, we have to understand that the text is just corrupt, and I'm showing that the verses are out of order to prove that it's already been proven. So this is his instruction. Raise my dead, not cleanse my leopard. You don't cleanse a leopard. You heal a leopard or lepers and cast out their demons, where they have cast out demons, cast out those with demons. Yeah, I guess they would be. I'm really having a hard time with the people, how they understood why they have illnesses. Illnesses are caused from demons. So when it's cast out their demon, it's kind of like referring to all these, okay, by casting out. Maybe that's what by casting. That's now, I think, really good. That's what I've been fighting for here. Oh, I need to add this to my new list. Things to correct going forward. Okay, by casting out their demons. Now that's pretty much because I've been looking for a verse to define what demons can do. And this is what demons can kill you, demons can make you sick, demons can actually speak out of people's mouth as being demons possessed. So, and now Jesus is saying, now you have my authority. See, they got the word freely. Now I'm using authority because I'm using Jesus has been given his authority by our Creator to do what he's doing. Now they have his authority to do what they are to do. And you receive freely, what? Freely you receive, freely you give. No. Jesus didn't freely give them anything. They had to be disciples. They had to be walking with him, learning from him. And now he's given them the confidence that he's been healing many people, doing many other things that we haven't found in this gospel, but uh, it's now giving his authority to help others. So give is not freely receive, freely to give. This makes more sense and more truthful as to the words here. You receive freely. This is not, Jesus is giving it to them, but is his authority. So it can't really be described as freely. To help them. And them would be the people with these sicknesses and stuff. Now, I'm sure that Jesus also told them that to be telling them about Jesus. And I don't see that in the text here. Okay? Although, what was it? Here, he's telling them to preach about Jesus. Okay, so I got that messed up here. It's just not in these verses. So, but they are willing to now help them to be healed. Well, I'm really getting warm here. The text here. No, we started here. This is the text that been done so far. And this one, 3:2. Yeah, I got rid of verse 3. Oh, I meshed 3 and 4 into here. So I guess my title, I got it wrong. So, oh well. I got errors here. And the people are going to notice the title because I'm not going to be changing a lot of this. There's so much work that goes into these videos, and that's why I'm just doing them live to show you that I am not perfect. So I do have errors, and the text actually starts at 5 here. This is what we cleaned up so far, and got some more time to go here. So Jesus is now giving them the more instructions. Do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belts. Here we're seeing that there's now 3 coin systems that seem to be based on the Romans number or coins, because they were trading by silver, and they had gold talents that they traded by, but never copper. So this would be referring to Romans coin system or money system, or a bag for your journey, or even 2 tunics or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worthy of his support. Well, let's clean this up. Do not take gold, silver, or copper for your wealth, not money belts. It's your wealth that he was concerned about, that people would have been, and most likely people were offering Jesus all the time for healing their children, or healing or doing these wonders or miracles. Now, or a bag for your journey. Now, the thing here is they would have had to have more than just a bag for the journey. They needed to carry their food, some other staples, I would say. I would even say that they needed a change of clothing. So I don't see this as being true or a bag for your journey. You would definitely need this, so I don't see that being not true. Using a bag or gathering another bag for Jesus, talking about do not uh, take this silver or gold for your wealth and the other things that they might have been giving you as gifts to make that a bag for your journey. I'm not, I still don't see this being needed, or even 2 tunics or sandals. Now, here they're trying to say that the disciples are wearing tunics, okay? No, they didn't. They weren't. They wouldn't have followed the Roman belief. Those that were still um, what I call Israelis, not the Jews. Jews are the descendants of Israel, but the object is that um, they are following their way of life, and not the believers would. The true believers, the Israelis, would not be wearing foreigner clothes, because throughout their history, they've always worn hides for their garments. Okay, so always made out of hides. So they would not have tunics at all, or sandals, or a staff. Now, um, these are just weird, because I don't see them being truthful or actually added by Jesus. I don't see these being added, or a staff, because you do use a staff to go walking, okay? And the roads weren't perfect. So if they were to stumble, they would be using this staff for support. You got to remember, the roads were uh, not as we have them today, nice and smooth. But the object is that even at that time, they would have probably started making some of the road out of flat stones. Okay, so I can see the major roads as having um, stones in them to make sure that they were working even after the rain and flood people, this type of thing. So, but the object is they most likely did have a staff. So yet my disciples, not workers, he's called them his disciples, deserve support from them. Okay, not worthy of, but they deserve. So we're going to get into this here, or what Jesus is going to talk about, what is worthy for them to um, their support, deserve support. So right here, these are the verses again. I'm going to start down here and correct them right off the bat. So don't the word into whatever city or village you enter. You're not going to inquire, you're going to ask. Same type of thing, but let's get to the words that a 12-year-old can read and understand and not be confused. And just say, ask who is able that you stay with them. Not worthy. Because right now you wouldn't be asking a pagan, you wouldn't be asking a Jew. You're going to his people. So when his people they enter the city, and they're most likely healing people to announce that they're there, they wouldn't turn to a non-believer. They'd be asking the believer who is able to stay with them, that they're going to be there a day or two, and then they're going to move on to another city. But they're to do teaching his kingdom and heal people. So it's not worthy of, let's see who is worthy. No, who is able to not abide. That's pretty much live, the definition of living with. So stay with. would be a better word, that you're um, being helped out by these people by giving you a place to live, probably give you food, and then it's Jesus says, until you leave, not go, but leave. Go away. Don't need the word away. Just they had the word go. They have the words go away. It can be meant one word, leave. You are to enter their homes, enter their home, giving them your greeting. So when you enter their home, give them your greeting, because I would say not everyone in the family went out and seen Jesus. They would have been out saying to the marketplace where women would be going to um, buy the food for the day or whatever is needed, or the men out doing the same thing or going places to get supplies. This is when they would have heard what was going on. So it wasn't like everyone in the family that he's going to would have been knowing what's going on. So it's not give their home, but the people in their home you're greeting. Okay, I just don't want it to be um, because here I guess is what. See, if the house is worthy, I'll let your greeting of peace come upon it. No, it's not the home that's worthy, it's the people that are worthy. So your greeting of peace will be added, okay? And the rest of this text is not needed. And if it is not worthy, let your greeting of peace return to you. So I don't know how that can happen as far as it returning to you. Your when you say something, how can it return? But the object is he would know automatically by the people that were believing. They would probably be able to know what was going on. I mean, they were not stupid men at the time to say that they would go to a pagan's house or a non-believer's house. And those that would probably be asking them earnestly about Jesus's kingdom and them teaching, then it would be yes, especially when one of them most likely offered for them to stay. Okay, now this we have the disciples. Okay, I'm gonna quit here because right now we have this text of, maybe I better not, because what happens here is Jesus is telling them what to do and giving them instructions. Okay, but now here, this text here is going to be almost like after he ascended into heaven, that he now was meeting with the disciples by Lake Galilee and telling them that here's my last instructions, because whoever does not receive you nor heed your words, as you go out from that house or that city, shake the dust off your feet. Now, it will be more tolerable in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the days of judgment, meaning the judgment day, the last day, than that city. This would be like when Jesus said not to go to the Romans, this sounds like going to the Romans. I mean, going to an unbelievable place altogether. So it's them walking around to other lands, calling other people, or all people. This was more or less what this is about. It's not about, because remember, Jesus said not to go to these places. Now it's kind of like he's explaining that it'll be more tolerable than these lands in the day of judgment than for that city. So these were strictly really horrible cities. People did whatever they wanted. But the object is that these words sound so much like not being what Jesus would have said at this time, because he's going to call them. And why would, and yes, basically was, what was it? Go to the lost tribes from Israel and preach my kingdom is heaven. Do not go to the pagans or do not enter the cities of Romans. Yet, if you actually think that land of Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, and they were actually cities, they weren't land. So, to correct the text here, your teaching, not your words, but your teaching, you have to have that being very truthful what they're doing. Leave that place and shake off the dust from your, not your feet, but your sandals. Your because they wore sandals, um, there is going to be much dust on their feet, but it's also going to be on the sandals. So I just kind of like, if you're going to shake off, you got to shake off your sandals as well as that are in your feet are your sandals as well. Maybe I have that wrong, that I'm going to say that this is the way, shake off the dust from your sandals. Okay. Um, then he's going to say, I will be more forgiving, not that it will be more tolerable, because we're talking about Judgment Day. And right now, I have to add, I will be more forgiving in the cities like Sodom and Gomorrah on their Judgment Day than that place. So, um, I'm trying to make sure that I've got the correct understanding or of the text here to say what I'm saying is um, truthful, because what happens, the more truthful I am, the next time I come across it, I will probably say the same truths. And I don't want to try to say something here that's um, can be truthful later, because he's talking about Judgment Day. Yeah, see, I got rid of the word lands to be cities like. Yeah, it's just that this was pretty much like I'm saying. It sounds like it's at a different point that he would teach this, because everybody that all the captives, you have to understand, when all the captives were sent back, they were the ones that uh, were, according to our Creator, in His prophecy, that they will be strengthened by Him by sending them back, and they will be more believers again in everything that they've been taught about their Creator. These were the ones that were to return. So I'm saying that the land has got a lot of these Israelis in there, and yet the Jews, the ones that are deceivers, they're the ones still, they got deceived, and yes, they're the corrupt ones that are going to end up having our king crucified to kill him. So let's see. I will send you out as sheep. Okay, here goes. Here's more text to, because beware, men will deliver you up to the courts. See, this text would be something that would happen, not now. Okay, they were healing people. I'm just saying, this is just more text that's going to end up saying that um, this sounds like it's later afterwards. For I send you out like lambs Those are 1-year-old lambs, very meek and mild type of thing. They're rams, not sheep. Among the wolves. Okay, now to be among the wolves, that would be in a complete strange land, not hearing about this. I mean, this would be like going into Babylon and start telling them about Jesus, or going into actually Rome and talking about Jesus. That would definitely be among the wolves because they had their own gods. Uh, Take a look at how well they built up. They're still around today of all this unbelief of one creator. So here it is among the wolves. Again, would not be uh, where he sent them out, like what I said was in Judah. For be shrewd as serpents and innocent as doves. Now, I know about doves. They aren't innocent. Okay. So let's just get on with that fact. That's not true. If you observe doves, the male is so dominant that he has to eat first before the females eat. Okay. And this is just one of the acts that doesn't make doves innocent. Be shrewd as serpents. No, Jesus always taught people to be truthful, not to be shrewd as serpents. I mean, serpents is that um, the sign of a serpent is that tongue that comes out and it's got two tips to it, that it's deceiving. That is what serpents are, is they're deceiving, not that that means shrewd as serpents. So beware of the priests, not the men. They will be judging you, because it would be the priests. I guess the word priest isn't really here. I guess it should be men. Got to add this to the list over here. Okay, because it's the men who will be delivering up to be judged or judging you. So beware of men. Beware of the men judging you, because when Jesus is being taught, or they're teaching Jesus's kingdom is in heaven, this is going to contradict a lot of thing in their land of their belief. Um, there are different heavens and understanding of different beliefs, or really not beliefs, when you understand that they're all teaching their sex with a female goddess as to how they have to become a god and then they enter into heaven. I pretty much have videos on those as well. Uh, um, by their court. But it's going to be, they're going to be judging you by their laws. Say that in Rome, uh, your god is Zeus. Now you're in there teaching something else. Well, it's not about their courts. It's about their laws that they're going to be judging you by, and scourge you in their synagogues. Well, there's no synagogues in those places where there's wolves, so you can't have and say that in Rome you wouldn't have synagogues because you have pagans having temples to worship their gods. Synagogues describe as um, gathering places to learn about our Creator, that sharing of knowledge about our Creator. This is what a synagogue is in the Promised Land. Okay, and when it's cleaned up, what did I? add down here, it has to be min. Okay. Now this is just starting of the text that says it's changing. And I know at a certain point, yeah, because here it's going to be even more governors and kings for my sake. See, the more I get into it, it's easier to say that it sounds like this text doesn't belong with Jesus sending them out to Judah, or yeah, the nation of Judah. So here we go here. Let's see, I need a clock. 45. I think this would be a good place to end because now you know that my explaining of this not being part of him sending them out into the nation Judah is very clear. So I can start the next video by stating that and going from there. So it'd be a good place to stop.